Well, hello, Celebration. I'm so excited about Easter weekend. Go ahead now and invite your friends to be a part. Start online watch parties, the works. We want Easter to be bigger than ever in spite of the virus. I'd like to talk with you about Good Friday for just a moment. It will take place this Friday at 6:30 p.m. This year, just as we have in the past, we'll celebrate communion as a part of the service. So how does this work if we're streaming the service? We'll do this by inviting the heads of household to lead in communion right where you are. You may have questions about this. You may wonder if you're qualified to provide this kind of leadership. Let me assure you, if you're a Christ follower, you need to feel the freedom to lead your family in this important moment. There's no scripture restricting that the giving of communion is for vocational pastors only. In 1 Corinthians 11, we learn that we celebrate communion in remembrance of Christ, and that we don't partake of it in an unworthy manner. When you lead in communion in your home, you're connecting with both an Old and New Testament tradition. In Acts chapter 2, it tells us that the early church broke bread, and that they did this from house to house. They're talking about communion there. Then in the Old Testament, the Jewish Passover, which was the setting of the first communion with Jesus and his disciples, well, that was held in homes. It was an opportunity to remind everyone in the family of what God had accomplished in the Passover. And it was a chance to teach those who were unaware what the Passover was all about. I want to invite you to get that same benefit this year. Talk with your children about what communion means while you're preparing it. Use this as a great teaching time in your own home. Who knows? You may have the opportunity to talk with your children about what it means to follow Christ. Right now, we want to give you the tools to prepare the elements for taking communion in your own home. You need two things, bread and the cup. For the cup, you only need to run to the grocery store. The bread is really easy to make. Here's how.
Hi there, I'm Robin, and I am excited to be able to teach you how to make communion bread at home. We're here at the Prepared Table, and we do cooking classes here, so this is going to be a virtual cooking class. The ingredients that you're going to need, you're going to need 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You can use gluten-free if you want to. You're going to need a tablespoon of oil. I used olive oil, but you can also use vegetable oil. Tablespoon of water and a smidge of salt. That's less than a pinch. Okay, so we're just going to put all the ingredients together. Here's the oil. Flour's already in. We're going to do a tablespoon of water and smidge, just a smidge. All right, we're going to mix this up. This goes by really, really quickly. Okay, so this is the consistency that you want. I'm going to put this out onto a mat. You could also do it right on your counter. There's some oil in here, so I'm not going to do it on top of our wood counters here. Put a little bit of flour on your board. And we're going to dump that out. Okay, you can use a rolling pin if you want, but you see how easy this goes out. I'll try it with the rolling pin. You want it to be really thin, like a flour tortilla. Okay, this is looking really good, but like I said, you can use your hands if you want. All right, you see how much this makes? If you have a big family, this will fit fine, this will be fine, or a smaller family, you'll be able to make this work too. Okay, so what I'm using, you can use a knife, I'm using a bench scraper, and all I'm doing is kind of like at church where we see the little squares or rectangles. I'm just doing that, cutting them into little squares. Okay, you can see, let's see, I have 3 for 12. You could definitely get more, 20 probably out of this. All right, so now we are going to put the pieces in our hot skillet. Now you can put this in an oven, a 425 degree oven for about 10 minutes. I would flip it halfway through, or you can go ahead and just put it in a non-stick skillet. You can use an electric skillet. I am using a cast iron pan because it is non-stick. By the time I have them all in here, it'll be time for me to flip them over. And you would want this to be on probably medium heat on your stovetop. See if this guy's ready. Not yet. It's about a minute on each side. All right, they are ready to start turning over. They do look like a little tortilla, for sure. Now, after you have turned them all over and they cook on the other side, just let them cool on a paper towel or a rack. And you can make them earlier in the day or even the day before and just put them in a sealed container and you're ready to go. All right, it's that easy. Communion bread at home, done. Okay, making communion bread at home is that easy. Let me try a taste, see if it's right. It'll work. Enjoy your Good Friday.